If you're just now tuning in, welcome to another episode of Backroom Beats. My name is Lamar Harris, aka DJ Noonie, hanging out with CJ Conrad. For all of you all that are just tuning in, make sure you take time to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me and CJ in the links that are listed below. And also, if you get a chance, definitely subscribe to the Anchor channel. We would love to hear from you. Sign up and be one of our Patreons. That way you can be on certain interviews that we're doing in the future and be able to get the quote-unquote tea on some of the new stuff that is coming out this year. We have a very, very exciting episode for you today. I don't even know how to even really just describe it, except these are three of the best phenomenal artists in St. Louis, Missouri. You're going to be surprised. You're going to be excited. You're going to be happy. You're going to be blessed. You probably may even get cussed out a little bit, but it's okay. Take it with a grain of salt and take it in love. And I'm going to go ahead and let CJ go ahead and set this one on up.
All right, y'all. Like I told the ladies I have here, when Lamar asked me to pitch an idea for a show, I said, I want to do the new wave. And not just the new wave of St. Louis, but the female new wave of St. Louis. And I feel like I have three of the best and most singular artists that are out right now. And I'm happy to have Valencia, Paige Alyssa, and BB in the mix. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Yes.
I guess what we can do to start off, if you could, because I mean, I could just rattle off what I know about y'all, but I like to hear it from the horse's mouth. If you each could just give like a quick, 30-second elevator pitch as to who you are, what you're about, where you're from.
Your origin story, yes.
You want to go to first? Anyone? Okay.
Silence.
Okay. Yeah. This is actually my first Zoom panel, so this is really, really dope. I love this. But hello, my name is Paige Alyssa. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer. I sing, obviously. I play drums, a little bit of piano, and dabbling with that, and I love creating music. And I've been singing in church ever since I was a little kid, and like now I'm almost 30 and I'm doing the same thing, so it's been real fantastic, and I'm happy to be on this panel with Bree and Valencia because I think y'all are super dope. So I'm just very happy to be here and be on cam with CJ and Lamar also. Love y'all.
We love you too, and welcome, Paige.
We do love you.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I can go. What's up, y'all? And thank you so much for having me, especially amongst all this greatness. I'm like a fan here.
Oh my.
Hi, Keith. Well, my name is Valencia, aka Dan Valencia. I'm a singer, songwriter, artist, and creative music video director, as well as creative writer. So, like, when it comes to like all of my projects and everything, I literally write the treatments for them, and I write the stories, and then I get behind the camera and I act it out, and then I get in front of the camera and all that kind of stuff just to make sure everything goes how I, would like it to go. I started singing really young, doing a lot of background singing, and then I actually got pushed by my vocal coach, Ametria Doc, to like go into my own artistry. And then after that, my first show was opening for Flo Rida, and that was in 2017. I just haven't stopped since. So that's just a little fun fact about me. Super excited to be here and to talk with y'all. You guys are all super dope, and yeah, I'm just ecstatic.
Well, welcome.
That is amazing. Y'all are amazing. Wow. And too kind. Just thank y'all for having me. My name is BB, and I am a singer, songwriter, band leader, creative here in St. Louis, currently based here. Well, I was actually born in New York, but I was transplanted here, and I've grown up here, and all of my sound and myself is really developed here in St. Louis. So that's what I rap. And a couple of years ago, I started my own band called the Neo Souls. And ever since then, I kind of have been in and out of the music scene, doing my own music, doing musical theater, just touching different areas, as well as I was a music student at Webster University, which kind of put me in touch with a lot of people in the scene. And eventually I just kind of got into my own, like I said, with the Neo Souls. I dropped an EP in 2019 called Is That All Right? And working on a new project now, which I've just dropped some singles for. So I'm working and so excited to be during this time, which again, thank you for having this and me here.
Oh no, welcome. Where do we even begin?
I'm fucking weak.
I mean, seriously, I think what's so dope about all of y'all is that you're always putting out something that feels like all three of y'all. It's like there's not too long of a gap before there's another single or another EP or another album. It seems like, and I'm just curious. This is one of Lamar's favorite questions. I feel like during this COVID quarantine shutdown, how has it been for y'all trying to still create output? What to take it?
Well, for me, I had to get super creative. Like it was like putting my creativity to the test. But I found that it's actually evolved me. So it's just starting when COVID hit, it was like, okay, what to do? And then I got invited to this this digital seminar where they were just like on the panel, they were just talking about how we can like adapt and keep our following continuously growing during this pandemic. And they were like, well, utilize the features of live streaming on social media networks and platforms. So I just started brainstorming, and that's when I started this little talk show, like whatever you want to call it, called Will Call, and actually had BB on there. And so we were like connecting with different artists from all over, and I was just bringing them on the show and just like hopefully building each other's fan base and reach. And then just from then on, I started to do other things that I'd never done before, such as private gigs for like this couple who's their anniversary. And they were like, I just need something to do during COVID. And it just kept elevating during that time. And then it led up to my release of my latest single, Amen, where it was just like so much opportunity came from that single alone. So keeping that creativity fresh and just using what I know I have and just working like consistently to like as if everything was open outside. So it was like putting me to the test, and it was super hard at first seemingly, but it's been amazing. Like ironically, it's been amazing. So I don't know. COVID ain't all bad.
No.
It hasn't been.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I gotta agree with Valencia. Like I had a really, really similar approach also. So like I've been put into a position where I had to look into what I already knew how to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I got back from living in Los Angeles right before COVID like started getting really bad. So I was here in St. Louis. I had one show on my birthday, and then like I shot a video for my single What's the Move that dropped. BB was actually in it with my band, and so like we dropped that single, and then everything shut down. So like it kind of put me in a position where like I was doing stuff like virtual galas, like a lot of the virtual stuff around St. Louis. Like I did Jazz St. Louis's season of stream with my band, and so it's been forcing me to like really get creative and like hone in on different aspects. Like I've really been focusing in on piano, so I've been like learning and playing keys more. I've been doing a lot more vocal coaching, which has been really fun, coaching my other musician friends and also people who just want to get into singing. So like it's been strengthening me as a teacher, and then also like learning how to run audio and stuff for like the internet and like stuff for live streams, like being able to get my Zoom rig up to like do performances in my house, and like just utilizing the resources that I have, from like my iPhone to my music production stuff, just like getting my hands in everything. And so in that respect too, COVID has been a place for the COVID shutdown. The pandemic has like really put me in a position to like learn more about myself as an artist, and also given me the ability to stretch out in different ways that I knew I could tap into, but like I just didn't because I didn't have to. But like, you know, now I was really forced to like tap in And it's been really cool to see like my friends and peers tapping in too, because like while I've been performing and doing stuff like all last year, like I've been seeing BB and Valencia doing stuff and like all my other friends doing stuff. And so I'm just like, it's cool to see us all like having, like I did open air and then like I saw BB did open air, and then like it's just like we're all still working. So like it feels really good to know that like my friends and my peers are also like in their bag, and like none of us are just like one trick ponies, you know what I mean? Like I feel like you like the people who really have it are the ones that were able to really like get in and be super creative and do some really cool things with the pandemic, because all of us can do more than just sing. Like we all do all types of stuff. Like the three of us on this call, and even like CJ and Lamar, it's like y'all all do multiple things too. Like all of us can do, right? Like all of us like do so much. So like it was a really cool opportunity for us to like really get in there and even collaborate with one another too. Like I feel like more collaboration and stuff took place also with us, like everything being shut down. So like, you know, I've just been doing a little bit of everything. You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Yes, y'all hit everything. Yes. For me, though, before I got to that point of tapping into my creativity, which thank y'all so much. But yeah, before I got there, it was really dead for me because like right at the beginning of 2020, I was kind of like really on my way up, and it was so nice. I had been gigging regularly with the event band that I'm with, the Leicester Lights. So we were having weddings almost every weekend. So I'm like, performing is my job at this point. This is great. I'm getting gigs. I had just done, by February, I had just come back from New York the second time performing originals from my EP. So I was like moving, and I was continuing and trying to plan to do that all year. And then COVID hit and it sat me down, and I was like, well, I can't do anything at all. And that was me for really about a month, for real, because literally the week that COVID shut down, the week prior, I had shot a photo shoot for my single that came out later on. So I didn't even know how that was going to be able to continue at the time. But I sat down and I was like, well, everything else has stopped, but I don't have to. Like, is everything else the thing, or am I the thing? Do I have the things? Can I make the things? And is this like, am I doing it because I need to be everywhere and able to do it, or because I really love it? So for me, the time was really spent tapping back into more so my passion for it, which in turn made me kind of go harder, because I'm able to get back into why I'm like really doing it. So it kind of
moments.
It flipped. It definitely started off low, but it flipped.
Yeah.
It just seemed like the three of you all have been able to properly pivot. And a lot of people, a lot of artists weren't able to like pivot in the moment, which is, you know, it's kind of crazy. You know, like we specialize in just doing stuff like we just create it as we go. But it seems like the three of you all have just been able to just, you know, from doing videos and creating all this content, you know, because you guys, y'all Instagram stay popping and y'all TikTok stay on like 24 hours. And I'm pretty sure y'all been in a few clubhouses, more than a few.
I'm not on Clubhouse yet.
If anybody needs stuff.
Man, I'm staying off of Clubhouse. I'm staying off of Clubhouse, child.
Now I'm like,
I don't need to do that. I already know ain't nothing on Clubhouse for me. But I will tap into y'all. Let me know what's happening on that.
You know,
I like it for like a hot second, and I'm like, I'm back out the house.
It's like, right, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah, same. I was on it for a week, and then I was like,
right.
It's just, and not even that it's not a great resource, not even to veer off into that, but it just got hard being in a room with, it was different when it's a room with 30 people versus 100 versus 1,000 versus
Too much.
that point. It's
But even pivoting off of that, like even in a situation where artists aren't even working, how do you like muster up the mental energy to be able to keep creating content and keep going? Because some people just shut down and just was sitting in their basement and just, you know, put on the COVID-15 to whatever you want to call it. But you know, you guys,
hard.
That was me. All that.
It's challenging because, like, you know, like I talked about the first question, I talked about my high points, but like when BB was like, for a minute, I was just like, fuck it. I felt that way too. Cause like I just got back from Los Angeles and I was just like, all right, recovering from like that experience. And so I was like, all right, cool. I'm back in St. Louis. Like I'm about to be gigging and like, it's going to be lit. I'm singing and then like, bam, everything shut down. And so like, I shut down too for a minute. And I was just like, luckily I had What's the Move? Like that dropped in like March or February to kind of keep things going. But I definitely was in that place where I was just like, well, shit. So, but it's just a level of like, getting back into why I do what I do. You know what I mean? It's like the reason like COVID is like fucking a lot of folks up because like a lot of people can't, I don't know, it's like the performances and like stuff that we would normally do to like put ourselves out there is no longer part of it. So like, what if there's no incentive to creating, essentially, like there's no performances, there's no gigs or whatever. If there's no incentive to creating, are you going to continue to create? And then like BB said, that poses a question of why do you do what you do? And it's just like, I am an artist, like before I am a brand, before anything, you know what I mean? It's like Paige Alyssa, Paige Hegwood, me as a person, is an artist. And I've been doing this since I was a kid. And this is what the gift I've been blessed with. So like, I'm going to continue to sing and create, whether there's shows or clout or gigs or no one's watching or not. It's like, I have to do that because that's the gift that God has bestowed upon me. And so that's my mindset. And I know that not everyone can do that. Like, cause COVID, like it's being isolated and like, this is a really scary time. On top of like, the civil unrest we've been dealing with, like 2020 has been fucked up. It was fucked up. So like, I totally understand people just being like, I'm just gonna chill the fuck out and give myself a chance to reset because like we like are constantly being like faced with violence and harm. And like, we're all Black people. So like that shit is times 100 for us. So like, I totally get people like shutting down, but like I chose to go within myself to try to like, get back to the root of why I do what I do, why I'm passionate about it. And so that's what kept me going through all this and got me over that hump and like still kind of getting over that hump if I'm being 100. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess for me, like I kind of went into analyzing mode where luckily I didn't like get discouraged. I kind of just got to a point where I started noticing, oh, okay, celebrities are way more accessible. People who work under these celebrities are way more accessible and they're watching and they're looking. So I kind of went into plan mode and I'm a content whore. I am very much so a content whore. So when it comes to content, I sit there and I look at that bitch and I just get excited. So I started planning. So for Amen, I had the time since everything was like down and I, even though luckily I was able to like do things like I did Glastonfest, which is a festival in Europe, and I just did it digitally. So stuff like that was like super motivating for me. So then I started like having these ideas because I was like, I need to drop something. And so I was like, okay, I had this song in the vault and I was like, okay, let me get it out. And, after hearing everybody saying, I've been telling you, put it out. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not just going to put it out. I need to rebrand myself because there's some things that I want to change. So I took that time to not just release a song. So a lot of people probably like, she really, really went there with this release. But for me, it was a rebranding. So I didn't just release the song. I released my my logo. I released like the name of my following, the Damnation. I released all of that. So I just kind of went into like hustle mode. And I'm really like gifted, I guess, at marketing and like music promo. So when I like actually like embraced that about myself and realized how much I loved it, that as well as like some of my team members, like we really just kind of went on go mode. And it's just like, it just became so fun. And it was just like, okay, so I'm going to plan this photo shoot, this, and that. But then sometimes like today, like, yo, I came up with an idea for like the rollout a couple of days ago for my video. I don't know, this stuff I never know, not all the time, but but being able to sit down, usually in a doc, I don't mind like prepping that. And that's just something that, I don't know, I felt like this is the time to do it. Like even there's days where I knew to give myself, my mental health is so, like I'm a huge advocate for mental health. If you got to go to therapists, all that stuff, I am here for it and for myself. So there's days where I would take a break because COVID is just like so much. And I want to go to the bar. I want to go to the bar, want to drink. I want somebody to carry me out. Okay.
Listen.
Those moments happen. But at the same time, I know where I want to go. And I always tell myself, act as if and think as if you are already where you want to be. And so I was like, there's no stopping right now. The industry people are watching. The city's at a standstill. They have nothing else to do. So I use that to just motivate myself and to continue to put out content, to be creative, go the extra mile. People say I'm extra, then I'm going to be extra times extra on speed.
extra read.
Right,
on
listen, yeah, like
yeah,
go
so I
for that
think
shit.
my motivation. So it's just like, yo, if you're good at it and if you love doing it, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of kept that mindset. Like I said, I had my down. I feel you, Paige. Like I was there. At some point, I was like, I cannot. I just refused. I refused. So it's been a roller coaster.
It sure has. Child.
It gets to the end, I think.
I hope so.
We can only pray. Well, Valencia, I'm glad you brought up rebranding, because one thing about all three of you that really stuck with me was that you all have a very specific brand. Like I could never confuse one of you for another. You're very, very singular. You're very individual. And not just visually, but sonically. And I'm just curious as to what kind of thought. Well, I mean, you kind of gave us, Valencia, some of yours, but I'm like, but for all three of you, what's the thought process that goes through your head when it comes to branding you as an artist?
To speak to that, that's so true for each of us. And I feel like just from kind of knowing what I do a little bit about each of us, that has a lot to do with the fact that we are really true to ourselves. And that kind of is what we just put out, like the sounds and the music that we really like I'm not trying to pattern this person, or I'm not trying to be in this box. Like if I like this sound, I'm gonna go with this sound, or if I like this aesthetic, I'm gonna go with this aesthetic. Like if I like it, so that's what I'm gonna do. And we each follow that to the T. And I feel like that is what creates everybody's lane. And I feel like that is what creativity is, because there's no way we could ever be each of each other, because we are not. We have not had each other's lives or experiences or perspectives, but that's what it is. So for us to pull from what really is us and put that out, I feel like is what helps make a distinction clear.
I have to say, that is 100% true, because you don't know this, but if someone asks me a lot of the times who one of my favorite artists are in St. Louis, I do say BB, because you're so original. Oh no, because I
don't do that, because I mention you every time. I mention both of y'all on my list every time. Yes.
Oh my God, a moment. It's so original. I just appreciate, because I see a lot of artists, and God bless their souls, I root for everybody, some from a distance, some up close. But I just basically really respect and honor those who have their own, who are just so comfortable in their original selves, because that's not only what's amazing about an artist, but it's also what sells. Nobody wants to hear, like, you know, they want to hear, like, nobody wants, but the people that you want to hear you, they're looking for that originality. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate that about specific artists. And I just say, yo, there's like a few artists out here that are doing their own thing. Their original music sounds amazing. Like I have it on my playlist. Like, do you understand? I am picky as fuck. Like,
for real. Like, know the words, know the harmonies.
Listen.
Check.
Yeah, no, and that's real. Like I feel the same way. Like Valencia, when your last single, when Damn came out, I don't know if was that your last single.
So my last thing was Amen, and then
Amen. There we go. Yeah, I know Damnation's name of your groups, or the name of your stands. I love that. But I remember when Amen came out, like I just was seeing it every fucking where.
I was annoying the shit out of everybody.
And like I love that though. Like I was seeing, and I think it was before I started following on Instagram, right? And so like I was seeing you like everywhere before I even had the context of like who you were. And like I had already had known know of you, but I was like, damn, okay. Damn,
like, Valencia.
Right, damn, exactly. I was like, damn, Valencia, okay. I was like, and then not only that, it's just like the visuals were like, just like, it just was, I see the outfit in my head, like right now, as I'm talking about, I see it. And like, same goes for BB too. It's just like, I see y'all everywhere, you know what I mean? And so like, first off, this conversation is really like exhilarating for me, because like, first off, I just like the energy is so dope. It's like, I'm in the process of like working on my next project. So like, I'm just like hearing you guys. It's like, it's just really, it's so nice. But I just echo what BB and Valencia said. It's just like being original. It's like, I am like, this is what y'all get, you know what I mean?
Period.
And like, I'm fucking happy with it. It's like, I feel like I spent so much of my life, you know, as like, you know, a young person, or just like, you know, being like Black and being queer and stuff, like trying to fit into other people's boxes and expectations of myself, and like in just my everyday life. And so like, now that I'm older and like I'm an art, not only am like I'm wiser, but I'm an artist, I have the ability to create like music, stuff out of thin air that can like inspire and touch other people. You know what I mean? Like, we are all on the Zoom right now because all of us have created something out of thin air that has touched all of us in like some shape or form, right? And like, that's what it's all about. And like, you can't bring that level of power into your art without being authentic. You know what I'm saying? And then like, having that level of being true to yourself, and then also just being dope as fuck. It's like, it's like you're able to like, you know, bring that. It's like, you know, I feel like the fact that like all three of us we're excellent artists. We all have a sense of who we are as people. We all have a sense of like what we like and like what we are willing to do, and we know what we're not going to do. We know, right, like period. It's non-negotiable. It's like so it's like we also the benchmark. And like, again, God bless everybody that's out there. Like, I want everybody to win also, like Valencia said. But like, you know, there's a certain like there's a certain level of like quality that I want with my work. There's a certain level of quality that I want my music to sound like. And like, when I do stuff, like I have a complete vision of how I want my stuff to be executed. And like, for the first part of my career, it's like I had someone else managing that vision for me. And like, now that I'm a little bit older, it's like I have like an even more perfect vision of how I want things personally to be executed for myself. And now that like I'm in complete creative control of that, of my image and my sound, it's like it's like the sky's the limit as far as like what I'm gonna do next. It feels so good. And so I'm in this space now. Like, again, COVID taught me a lot of things. It also taught me how to fall deeper in love with myself and just to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, if I believe in a vision and like I believe in some music that I'm releasing, it's like, now is not the time to put the brakes on. Now it's not the time to like stop that. It's just like lean into it and go for it. And I think because the three of us, especially, and like other folks here in St. Louis, have the audacity to continue to lean in and to be authentic, is what makes people like the three of us like stand out from everybody else. And like, even all of our peers that I know that we're all connected with and have mutuals with, like kind of all function the same way. And I think, again, it's because of that authenticity and the fact that we're not in competition with anyone. It's like, it's just like, this is Paige Alyssa, and like, it's
Look,
like no one's
if
in
you wanted
competition.
to preach, all you had to do was say that you wanted to preach.
It's just like, you know, like if you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm like wasting time trying to make sure like my brand or like my stuff is outdoing somebody else's, then like, yeah, my stuff's gonna be trash, because you're not focusing on the real, on the real. You're not focusing on what's important. So like, that's why I think the three of us, and like other folks included, but especially the three of us on this call, are able, or we have the following and like the success and the branding and the uniqueness that we do, is because we're real fucking people, and like, we're authentic, and like we care about what we do. That's just like those two things. We care and we're authentic. It's that simple.
And I have to say, like, in us and other artists who do dare to be themselves completely, genuinely, and put it out there, like, obviously that makes it harder because there is a mold that's a thing. So there's no reason why we have to choose to go that path in our artistry. So it says a lot to me that we do. And like, I always try to honor that and just remember that, because it makes a difference, because it's hard. It's being an independent artist, being a woman, being a Black woman, being queer, look.
It's all.
And then if you're not, and then let you not be a size 8. Okay, let your booty and your waist and your titties, let it not be the right
I'm trying to get my
shape.
titties away. I've been trying to do this for years. I think
Okay.
I'm born with titties.
Like, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of feeling like my fupa has to do anything for anybody at any point.
Say that.
Oh my goodness.
Because at the end of the day, I'm going to sing this song
Look,
that I wrote.
And it's gonna be sung well. You're gonna kill it. You know what I mean?
Practice, like
Yeah.
I work. So y'all gonna get this show. Why does my fupa have anything to do with this? Leave me alone.
y'all, I love y'all so much right now because you've actually led into something else I wanted to talk about too. And you already hit it, being a woman, being a Black woman, and in some cases being a queer Black woman. I know that it's difficult because I've brought in this together. I've definitely sung with some female artists, and they've told me like men don't take them seriously unless they want to sleep with them. And then even then it's a matter of trying to control them as opposed to just letting them be the artist they want to be. And I'm all three of y'all. This is why I love this group in here because y'all are all everything I can think of, y'all can speak to. So in the year 2021, what is it like for you navigating, performing, and creating with men?
Woo!
Is it any different? Is it any better?
No, I am getting a lot more short, for lack of better words, because I can't think of anything. Because in my experience, I have to deal with a lot of womanizers and a lot of men who just feel that they have dominion over my body as a woman. And you just feel that. And listen, I have a swift tongue. And I have a degree in cursing. Motherfuckers out. Graduated with honors, okay? But for me, it's just a matter of it's either business or nothing at all. And I had a guy who sent his penis he put his penis in my inbox, basically. Excuse my language or whatever, but then proceeded to ask for a feature. And then me knowing that it wouldn't happen, I said, okay, well, my feature price. And he's like, well, I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to do what I love. And I'm like, and he's like, and you can just come record over my house. I said, no. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? So
they
after he got a nice little message.
They have Audacity though.
They definitely have, they have unlimited
Audacity. Unlimited Audacity.
They're like a Street Fighter character with unlimited Audacity. And I said, you know what? I told him, I said, first of all, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that. And second of all, I do not do business with people like you. And then of course he got blocked, but it's just me having that conversation with him. Like, you need to respect me. You need to know that this is about business, or you're not, I don't need your bit. That's one thing I let people know. And that's probably why people don't like me. Certain people, I don't know. I don't need you. I don't need to do a feature with you. You came to me to do a feature. So let's understand that, because it's about knowing your own worth. Is what I believe. It's knowing your own worth. And what they say, you gotta charge tax as well. It's like, you don't have to take
interest and tax.
Interest and tax. You have to understand, and even if it's someone that you may have really wanted to work with, it's just about what are you willing to do and how far are you willing to go in order to get that, to make that connection. Is it worth it? So when I step into meetings, I don't care if it's all men, I'll let them know, no, I'm sorry, I'm talking just as strong as you guys, because you need to understand that this is about business, that I need this, you need that. So let's do this respectfully. So going into 2021, I'm just keeping that energy, because who has time? Who has time? I've gone out of sessions angry. And I'm one, I'll say, I don't care who you are. I'll never work with you again. Who'd you work with? Congrats. What you want, a medal? What you want, a medal? Just a pat on the back. And that's just me.
What we do in my family, we say, you want the mic? You want to tell the people?
Oh my God. I love that.
It can be uncomfortable for us as women, and it's just so unfair. I really recently, the video that surfaced, and I don't like to really have, be too opinionated in the industry because you just never know. But as far as like this video resurfacing with Rick Ross and the young lady who that. I was so angry and upset for a while, being a dark-skinned Black girl in the music industry. It's just so hard seeing how we are treated and knowing that we have to work. If you're brown skin, dark skin, it's just a given. But as for being a woman and knowing that these men are a lot of times looking for more in exchange, and it's just like, I paid you. Did you look at the receipt? So it just really made me upset and threw my day off. But it was just kind of like, okay, let me regroup and just understand who I am and how I already know I'm going to move. And if I don't feel comfortable, I'm bringing somebody with me. You know what I'm saying? So I also have, and it's a shame that I have to do that, but my goal is to start working with more women producers, because I feel like we need that anyway. More women producers, more women engineers. I mean, that's my goal. So knocking on wood that happens soon. That's not real wood, but we got it. We understand.
But that's what makes this conversation so important, because other people need to be inspired so we can have more women producers, more women owning more properties and more entertainment houses and stuff like that. Because right now the whole field is just totally, it's really imbalanced in a whole nother different direction. And I feel like if any year out of any year right now, this is the year of the Black woman, hands down. So I see more of that stuff, especially like in St. Louis in the next like year and a half, like completely coming to pass, where you start having more women actually like building these businesses, whether they be production, theater, or whatever, from the ground up, and just really just running like powerhouses. So you know,
I appreciate that.
Because if we're being 100 too, I feel like, and this is a fact, I don't give a fuck. Black women like have been carrying like the pop music industry, especially the last few years. Like, especially like last year, the music that was dropped, like Black women have been like running this shit. And it's been like, I think Black women in general are just getting tired of like the foolishness. And like, I'll say that like, since, you know, me being like, you know, a mask presenting queer person, like my interactions with men are different, but they're still just as like harmful, because like for me, it's like they have this approach like, oh, like, you know, Paige Alyssa, like she's one of the homies, like, oh, she's down, so like I can say I will be kind to her, but then like will not return the same kindness to like my peers. Like I know that like treat me differently than like they would maybe treat Valencia or BB, because like they're more femme presenting and like think that they can just talk to them any type of fucking way, or think that like, you know, I won't mind like, you know, them being sexist because like I present myself a type of way. And I'm just like, no, like I don't fuck with that. It's just like, you have to respect everybody, and like, you know, like being able to like treat your peers and stuff with respect, because like we're peers just as much as y'all are. Like what the fuck is that? And like I also like want to make more of an effort to like work with more like femme writers and producers, and like, you know, bring that all together, because like we're the ones that are carrying the shit. Like in hip hop, like rap right now, and like it's Black women, and pop music and singers is Black women.
You said pops for the past couple years, but let's really talk about Ma Rainey. Let's really talk about how it's been this whole time. So it's time.
Yeah, like literally we've been carrying this shit on our backs. Like I'm just like being 100, like, you know, femme folks, Black women, like we've been carrying it, and I'm just gonna say it, you know what I mean? Like it's just true. Like I'm thinking about all the releases last year. I'm just like, it's Black women. I don't know what y'all want.
Yeah, last year was crazy.
It was crazy. Yeah. Like what the fuck?
Let me tell you what shook me. I recently found out that so many of Luther Vandross's like big hit singles, Dionne Warwick sang them first. How come we? You know, it's like it's in so many places.
Yeah,
and I had no idea. It's like all over in the history of music in any industry,
of everything. Genre. Yeah,
they just topple over us, and no more.
And that's why it's just like, fuck it. It's just like, if like I can tried to change myself and like, you know, be more digestible to people. And I'm like, well, that was some bullshit. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna be myself then. Cause I'm like, if you are going to disrespect us regardless, then like, why would I take the energy to try to be something that I'm not, and then demand that you respect who I am and how I present myself to you? Because like, I know I've come to the table with like credentials. I come to the table with my shit. Like, I know that like my shit's hot. So like, you are going to respect it. And like, either you're going to listen to it or not, because if you don't, I know that my community fucking will. So I don't have to like, you know, work with anybody, like if I'm like working with, I don't work with men who are sexist, who are homophobic, who are disrespectful to women, especially Black women. I just don't have that shit in my space because like
at this point
it's just like I'm exhausted. Like I just can't. I don't want to work with that, and I don't want to work with people who don't see all of me and see all the communities in the way that my identities overlap. And if that means that like I have to remain an independent artist and grind,
and this is literally,
then like that's what it is. Go ahead, BB. I want to hear what you have to say.
No, you're gonna say this is literally why I started my own band, because eventually, what they'll do is, what in my experience, if they don't come at you disrespectfully or trying to come on to you, they'll think that you're dumb and that they can play you and that they can charge you this much and you don't get the work. So many times I paid and just haven't gotten. So I was like, you know what? Forget Sean. Let me get my own band. I'm doing it myself.
Do it yourself.
It's too much. It begins to be, and that's literally what we're starting to do. It's like, all right, y'all want to keep messing around? Fine. We'll do it ourselves.
Just do it ourselves. Because like you're capable. Why the fuck not?
Even dealing with that band issue, that's something I think that's just universal around here, that cats. I don't want to soapbox on that because that's a whole episode on its own. But
invite me back for that one, please.
It's just like cats. It's the same pool. Nobody wants to rehearse, or if they want to come to rehearse, you charging me $50 or $100 to come to the rehearsal? Are you kidding me? And it's like, well, if you lived in New York, even though this ain't New York, it's still the same premise. You go into every rehearsal. I remember Montez Coleman sat there and said, you go to everybody's rehearsal because eventually the rehearsal is going to turn into a gig and you at least know the book. And the book is going to keep growing as long as you keep going to the rehearsal and you'll continually get the gig. Yeah. Around here, it's like, oh, well, we going to sing I'll just say it, man, because I ain't got nothing to lose these days. It's real. It's the same 10, 12, 13, 14, 16 songs, on everybody's set list. And after a while, it's like, what this is why 1, 2, and 3 are here today, because I don't see that in you guys' music or in your set lists and stuff. So I guess even with the whole creative process of what's the wall that you're shooting to jump over or knock down at the moment?
I decided years ago, I was doing shows at like, BB's at the time, Rustic Gold, and other like well-known area spots that I adore to this day. Well, Rustic Gold's not here no more, but but I decided I don't want to do this. I have been writing songs since I was 15, 16 years old, and I don't want to perform anybody else's song. I have no problem with, cover bands or whatnot, because I think they make you feel good, and it's an amazing feeling, and that's needed. But at the same time, for me, I said, I want to grow my fan base off of my own original music. Yeah. And that's what I'm going to do. So I actually took a step back and had to kind of start from scratch. Mm-hmm. And so it was definitely hard, but it was just like, I have this. It's going to be bumping. Let me tell you about my first release. I'm not going to tell you about my first release, but let me tell you, it was not something to tell you about. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to figure out, what do I do? Where do I go? Who do I record with? I don't know nothing, but I know I want this shit. So I just started figuring shit out. And I just knew, even though it was trash, I still did it. And then I learned from that one, and then I learned from that one, and then just kept elevating. And so now I'm at the point where it's just like, I am unfuckable with, because I am, back to our original point, original, and I know who I am as an artist finally, but it just didn't happen like that. I decided to say no to something, and I had to take that time to grow my fan base, because St. Louis, I love St. Louis. I wasn't born here, but I was raised here for sure. Shout out to the South Side. But St. Louis is just sometimes we just get so comfortable with something, and we just, anything that pushes, that makes us feel a little like, okay, what's this? This is weird. They may not mess with it. You know what I'm saying? So even when I was singing background, I had to learn, you're playing the background, which I loved to do. I did some touring with Anthony Gomes. Not touring with Anthony Gomes. I sang background for Anthony Gomes, but then I did some touring with Fizzle, and I did some touring with Shanita Jones. And I found out the weird things that I wanted to do. I wanted to do that shit for myself, but I knew it was going to be hard. So what I started doing is not worrying about or focusing on what St. Louis wanted, because I know that they'll catch on. I started going from the outside in. So the idea that COVID actually made that even, it took me to a point that made me elevate, because it's like, now we're in a digital world. We don't have to sell CDs out the trunk. You know what I'm saying? We have Spotify, we have Apple Music, we have to fight algorithms for sure, but it's possible. So I started studying and I started learning and I started managing myself, because I was looking for a manager too. I was so hungry for a manager. Now I'm just like, yo, come on. I mean, if there's a will, there's a motherfucking way. Okay. So I just started just honing to that and just saying, yo, you know what? Do your own shit. If people fuck with it, people will fuck with it. And guess what? People fuck with it. And I just use that. And then I use that to grow and to continuously grow. So it's just kind of like, some things are for some people, but I just know what's for me and I know what I'm going towards. So it's just a matter of, again, your mindset, your work ethic, having a plan and executing it. So if it's just you and one other person, it just used to be me and one other person when I was working at the Arch managing. We used to be in the office. Yo, listen to this song. Listen to this song. I got it. It's this one. It was trash at the time. I didn't know it, but it was just like, yo, it's just a matter of working that shit that you got and being confident in yourself. So, I mean, it's hard, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, that management stuff is overrated. I mean, people.
It really is. It really is.
I mean, when Eric Roberson sat on stage and sat there and said, "Well, you call the line, good evening, this is blah 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 blah," and then somebody's gonna run out and send you some CDs, which is my dad, and you just be like, "Man, it's like it's a small group. It don't really take all that." Now, when you get to a certain level where you may have to ship out like a lot of stuff, but in digital age, we ain't got to do all that. Yeah. So it could be done by one or two people. You don't need management.
The biggest thing about if there was more money amongst independent artists, there would be way more celebrities. There would be way more mainstream artists.
Fuck yeah.
If we had more funding, that's all we need. That's all.
Literally.
If you know what to do as a label, if you learn that shit and if you have an understanding of how to move and how to protect yourself legally, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you've made it. That's half the struggle.
Yeah.
And then the 40% is really just your music. So you're at 90%. The 10% is the money. Mm-hmm. So where's the investors at? This is it's my question. And that's it.
That's it. God.
Period.
I've been saying that so much. I'm like, just somebody give me a budget. Like, I don't need.
That's all I want.
I don't need direction. I already know what direction I want to go in. I already have the vision. Just somebody give me I need like $1 million. Okay.
So if you're lying to people. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, BB.
No, you're all good. Going off of that, all of that, you're right. I want the checks. So literally what I've started doing is writing proposals. Mm-hmm. How am I going to get, not only do I want the check, I'm going to write out how I'm going to get the check. Mm-hmm. And so really tapping into literally not only what I want, but the steps to get it has been super important.
And raise your prices. Like I've been raising my prices like motherfucker.
But it's you have to.
Yeah, because I'm like, y'all not about to keep playing me. Like, y'all not about to keep paying me like, $20 to sing for 2 hours. I'm just not doing it. No. I'm so sorry. Because I just think it's just, it's, you take what you are willing to receive. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so absolutely. I would always tell myself, I'm like, all right, these are the type of gigs that I want. So well, why do you keep taking the gigs that you don't want? So it's just putting that literally out there and putting in the atmosphere and then being as professional as possible. Like, I'm really glad that you brought up proposals and Valencia mentioned having the legal mind and having all that together. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just it makes it so much easier to function. And even though I don't have the funding that I think I deserve right now, I don't think anyone on this call is has the funding that we deserve, because we all deserve millions of dollars. Yeah, because that shit's gonna change really fucking soon, because we're way too prolific of artists. We're way too prolific of a city to just know. I'm just we're just not doing that anymore. We're just not doing that anymore. But even with that, because we have the other 40 and 50%, of it, like the creative part and like the mind of like, you know, the marketing and like just knowing how to function in that particular realm without having a bunch of people's hands in the pot. Like that's like we're able to continue to do what we need to do because like whether we have the funding or not, we're gonna get this shit done.
Aside from the funding, we're already Beyonce's. We're handling the business ourselves.
Right.
We're managing. We're creative directing. We're making the music. Cut the check. And
cut the check. That's what I'm saying. It's like cut the check. I'm like literally like Melissa talking about like, she's her creative director for her videos. BB is writing and performing. Like I'm writing and performing and producing my stuff. We're all band leaders. I'm just like give us our things because I know that they're already our things. You know what I mean? It's like it's already ours.
They need those voices. For those tributes, for those singers.
Listen.
They ain't gonna be able to call these Danny Lays, all right? And I said what I said.
That's on period. I'm like, y'all. That is literally okay. It is.
That's why I'm not worried about it.
No, because when it comes down to it, I'm like, if it's me and an acoustic guitar, if it's just me and I gotta sing something, I'm gonna be able to do it. And so I truly believe at the end of the day, that's gonna outlast everything. It's just like it's the talent. You know what I mean? It's like what Beyonce saying. Yeah, because people can't be gimmicks. Like COVID is making people like either you got it, like I said earlier, either you got it or you don't. Like if you like people are like tuning in for concerts on fucking Zoom. Okay. If you can make Zoom sound hot, like if you can like sing and like be able to sing down on like Instagram, then like the fuck, because that's where people are at right now. People are on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Zoom meetings, like folks is buying tickets for like virtual concerts. And if you can't do that shit, then you can't do virtual. So it's just like when this is over with, it's just like we're gonna really be able to see who real recognize real. And like this has been a long time coming. Like the industry is so oversaturated with so much junk right now. And that's just is what it is.
The industry is so bored right now. They don't know what to do. That's why it's such a good time for independent artists. I've been saying that COVID has been beneficial for independent artists to really excel and really get highlighted because we're going to be the first ones to be able to go, go to shows for real, because unless they really eat some humble pie and take smaller venues, these artists, when they start slowly opening things back up, we really have the time. Like I said, it's so refreshing hearing you guys speak because it's just the same mindset. It's just like knowing what you have and also having multiple things you're able to do. Like we're writers, singers, musicians, you know what I'm saying? Creative directors, creative writers, et cetera, et cetera. You have to. I remember going to a conference. It was a Dame Dash conference back when I lived in Cali. I was living in the Bay, but I went to LA.
Nice.
For this conference, and every time I met, every time I talked with an exec or whatever, and they would ask me, well, I was like, "How I'm a singer and I'm an artist." They start saying, "Can you write?" I was like, "Yes, I can write. I can write." And that's what they always ask. But can you write? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be well-rounded. But using all of that and using your originality, oh my God,
you're unstoppable.
It's hard, but it's so easy.
It's so easy. Yeah, I love that.
Like a caveman could do it.
Yeah, right. It's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. That's exactly.
And then once you sit down, you just kind of spill out, and you get it all done. And it's like, wow, I can't even believe that was all in there.
Yeah.
Amen music video. I said, whoa, it's here.
Yeah.
I'm not turning back. I don't want to see it again. No.
Right. No, just drop it. Don't tell me nothing about it.
Yeah.
Y'all, and you guys enjoy it. Please don't say nothing else to me about it.
No, literally, that was me. When I dropped the Hot Seat music video, I did it, and then I went out of town the next day. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want it.
Listen, I'm like, please stop asking me about the plug. It feels good. I'm like, stop asking me. Like, y'all got the plug. Enjoy it. Please stop asking me to sing it.
There you go.
Like, please leave me alone.
See, this is one of. First of all, shout out to Cy Smith, one of the hardest working independent artists in the world. Make sure we follow her too. Bro.
Yes.
I told Conrad we didn't have to really ask too much. We just had to just light a little bit of a match and just go click.
Motherfucker went up.
And all the gems and all the shit just came flowing out. Like literally.
They literally did everything I wanted to do. That's why I was like, I'm looking at my website. Nope, they did that. They got that. I'm good.
Well, hell.
At this point, we just sitting in doors of the church are now open. I guess we'll start taking offering. So we might as well just go around the room and just tell everybody where they can find you, where they can donate to, and become a Patreon and everything. Make sure you do subscribe to everybody's Patreon, buy all the records, which should be available on Spotify, Bandcamp, and other platforms. Feel free to go at your leisure.
Oh, everything for me is damn Valencia, like the curse word in Valencia, like Spain, or the orange, whatever you prefer. But everything's at Dan Valencia. I actually have my music video to Amen dropping on the 29th.
Nice.
So for whenever this is released, definitely check that out. It's going to be on YouTube later on, maybe on my Vivo channel, but definitely my YouTube. So everything, like I said, at Dan Valencia, social media, everything. My artist name is Valencia. So if you're looking me up on Spotify and things like that, type in Valencia. You may have to type in an A for Amen to get, give it a little push, but it's there. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
I just followed Valencia on IG. But yeah, my Instagram is, and yeah, Miss Paige Alyssa. That's MSPAIGEALYSSA. Same goes for Facebook. All my stuff is on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Bandcamp, all the places that Lamar said. Yeah, stream my music. If you want to cash app your girl or something like that, Venmo it's Paige Alyssa. You know what I'm saying? Like, pay Black women. I mean, hell, you know what I mean? And yeah, that's where you can find me at. My Twitter is I am Paige Alyssa. If you want to follow me on that, child. Twitter is different, but if you want some spicy takes, feel free. I make a lot of good jokes on Twitter right now during my downtime. So yeah.
100, okay?
Yeah, right.
I can confirm, yes. But yes, y'all can find me on Instagram at simplybe.be. And you can search my music and find it be.be. Or you can go to my website, bbcreative.com, and it has all my music there, updates about any upcoming projects. And also, you can buy tickets to my next show, which is on February 19th at the Blue Strawberry.
Ew.
Very excited. Somebody who's on this panel might be making a little feature, little show. At the show, we may see somebody else. So, take a wild guess and think about that. But you can buy tickets, like I said, on my website, and you can go to the show in person if you're in St. Louis, but you can also get a virtual ticket. So you can watch it from home, from the safety of your home, and still be there. So, yeah.
Well, this conversation has brought me so much joy, for real. Like when literally, I feel like I've watched y'all all like blossom and mature into artists, capital A artists, and it's just like y'all. Just hearing y'all talk is kind of giving me a lift, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go sit and record some stuff when we get through.
Do that.
No, I know. I definitely have some work to do. Also, I'm like, yeah, I already I hung out with Lamar a few weeks ago, and he was like, Paige, you gotta start doing some shit, and I'm like, I know, but now I'm just like, yeah, for real, this was really refreshing to get me, on that path. And shout out to CJ and Lamar, you guys, as much as you feel like you've been watching me grow up, watching us grow up, I definitely feel like you all have been such a huge inspiration. I work and maneuver the way that I do because watching you two and the way that you all carry yourselves in so many different environments, and how you all have always encouraged us to do different shit. I just appreciate y'all's voices here in the community in St. Louis for sure. So thank you for doing this, and thank you for bringing the three of us together. This is dope as fuck.
I appreciate it
so much.
It's a vibe. Yeah.
A vibe, an honor.
Yeah.
A pleasure. All of it.
It's just some stuff that we just can't speak to, that it takes you guys' voice to be able to speak to. And there are young women who are coming up, who may even still be in high school, middle school, who need to hear your story and hear what you guys are doing. So we appreciate you lending a voice to their ear and, just encouraging the singing and telling your story. So We appreciate you. You know, and for all our listeners out there, you know, make sure that you follow all these artists. Make sure that you give. Make sure you support them. Make sure you do everything you can that you're supposed to do, period. You know, I'm just saying. You know, I don't have to go in no detail. We're winding up right now here. Grab your neighbor's hand as we get ready to get up out of here. This has been another Backroom Beats with myself, Lamar Harris, and
Me, CJ Conrad.
in this great and wonderful list and just gifted artists and panelists. You know, Dan Valencia, BB, Paige Alyssa. Follow them. We'll catch you next time. Peace.